Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Nurhabiba Firdausy and my student number is 77. Today, I would like to talk about an article. It is about Duolingo as a mobile application to assist second language learning, but it is more likely the application review. It was written by Musa Nushi and Mohammad Hosein Eqbali from Shahid Beheshti University. For our today's discussion topic, there are four. The first one, we are going to talk about the introduction of the article, and then the description, evaluation, and lastly, conclusion. So in the introduction of the article, it clearly states that technology can change the way teaching and also learning language process because it is interesting as well as challenging for someone's intellect. By having the technology, someone can learn a language independently and by themselves. Sometimes it is also free. It doesn't cost much money. The example that we can use, the example of technology that we can use to learn a language is just like podcasts, online dictionary, and some language apps. And today, the language app that we are going to discuss is Duolingo. So the first one, we are going to talk about how to use Duolingo itself. So in the description, it shows some steps to use the Duolingo. The first one is we can download the application first via Google Play Store or iTunes. It is based on the type of your handphone software. And then after that, after you download the application, you can choose the target language that you want to learn. For example, you want to learn about English or Japanese or Korean. There are a lot of variation of languages that you can choose. And after you choose the target language, you can set the daily goals. So it is just like the reminders for you how long that you want to study. Is it 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or even 20 minutes? And then after you set the goal, you can start to practice learning the language. You can practice it every day and you can gain the points. And after there are some topics that you will learn whenever you take the language. And once you finish all the topic, it means you will finish the class. For the exercise itself, in Duolingo, there are some there are some language skills that is included. The first one is speaking, translation, matching, pairing, and listening. So for speaking exercise itself, so we as the user, we will say a word or a sentence based on what we heard. So there will be the audio that is provided, and once after we listen to the audio, we need to repeat what the audio said. And then for translation exercise, so there will be a simple sentence or a phrase in the target language, and what we need to do is we need to translate it based on the language that we know. For example, there's a simple sentence in English, and we need to translate it in Indonesia, in Bahasa. And the next one is matching exercise. So in matching exercise, usually there will be a photo and also the words given. So what do we need to do is match the picture and also the word given. And the next one is pairing exercise. So pairing exercise is we need to pair some words from both language, or it can be also from the target language itself. For example, if you learn Japanese, there will be a kanji letter and also the how to pronounce. So you need to pair it. Or for example, there will be a target language word and you need to find the translation. And then the last exercise is listening. So in listening, you are going to listen to a short phrase in the target language, and you need to write what you listen. So Duolingo, we can say that it is kind of friendly and also smart application, because this application, it is not only what is that? Uh, of course, it will know the correct answer, but it is also can detect the mistype or typo. So whenever you make a typo and it is a simple mistake, so it is still considered correct. For example, you want to write about cat, for example, but you you just click CA without T unintentionally, and the application will know if your intention is to write cat. And why this application also called as a smart application? Because it is also can remind us as the user about the daily goals and also showing our progress. So once you set your goals, it will remind you every day. So you can set, for example, you want the application to remind you at 9 in the morning. So yeah, that will be notification in your gadget to shows that you need to practice your language. And if you don't practice it, it will give you another notification to remind you again. And then the other reason is this application can help us to make friends. So it is not only among the Indonesian, but it is among people in the world. So you can, broaden your uh, friendship. And after you make a friend, you can also make a competition between you and your friends. So you can have kind of battle of the language, and you can know who is the winner by seeing the score, and you can evaluate in which area that you need to improve. But there is one note that I want to emphasize here. So even though this application is great, but it does not provide any grammatical explanation. So the users still need to work with the rule or with the knowledge of the, especially grammar itself by themselves. And the next discussion is about the evaluation. So of course, to write the article, I do believe that the writer has already tried the application itself. And the writer found out that Duolingo has some weaknesses and also the strengths. So the weaknesses itself is that is the unnaturalness of Duolingo. It is both sentence and also the audio. So uh, if you use the Duolingo, you will see that the sentence sometimes is not natural. I mean, like it's like it's just like the simple sentence, and also yeah, it's not really natural. And the audio itself, it is also unnatural because the sound of the speaker who say the word is computerized. So it is just like when you use the dictionary, online dictionary, and when you listen to that person to speak, it sounds like that. So it is sounds like computerized. So it is unnatural. Meanwhile, when we learn a language, it is better for us to listen to the native speaker of the language itself. The second weakness is the user needs to understand another language which has English in it. What does it mean? Is that because the application because we know that the application is globally used, right? So of course the instruction is mostly written in English. So for example, we as an Indonesian, we want to learn Korean, let's say. We want to learn Japanese. So we cannot just know about Indonesia. We need to also understand an English, even though it is simple, but we still need to understand about English because the instruction will be written in English. And then the third weakness is the users introduce a new words by letter, not word shape. Sorry. So the users introduced a new word by letter and word shape, not sound. So it is really necessary for us to learn a new word by listening to the sound, to listen how the words pronounced by a person. Because sometimes what is written will be different from what you hear. For example, just like in English, when you want to say TH sound, there will be two different sounds, right? Like the or the. So if you just learn it by the letter and the word shape, uh, it is great, but it might confuse you when you want to try to apply the word in your daily conversation. And the last weakness is because of it lacks of interaction and also conversation. So language itself, it is about practical thing. So you cannot just learn the language by the theory, but you also need to apply it. So what is that? Because if you learn language just by memorizing the theory, just understand the meaning, it will not really helpful. You might forget someday, but if you apply it, it will be useful, and you can, what is that? Yeah, it can be really useful. And then, but instead of the, what is that? The weakness, Duolingo also have the strength. So the application is free and it is also user friendly. So it helps the user to, what is that, to cope with their bored feeling, and also it will motivate them to learn something new by gamifying learning. Yeah, because we see that the exercise from Duolingo is just like when you have the fun quiz. So it is just like when you play a game. So once you are addicted, yeah, it will be so much fun. So lastly, in conclusion, learning language is really needed nowadays. And self-study is also important to learn a language. And by using Duolingo, we can learn language individually and everywhere, anytime, everywhere, freely. So despite its merits, it also has some drawbacks. So just like what I mentioned before, it lacks of real communication, real conversation, and also the audio and sentence is unnatural because it is computerized, and also there is no grammatical explanation. So it can make us as the user wonder why it is wrong and how to construct a sentence grammatically. So in short that even though technology can help in language learning, it doesn't mean it is the main process. The matter is how we take the advantage of technology. Okay, I think that's all for my presentation. Does anyone want to ask?
I want to ask a question, Rabiba.
Yes, Winnie, please.
Okay, my question is, um, since the technology has developed, so do you think that language learning can be replaced by application, or we still need the teacher to teach?
Okay, so in my opinion, language learning can be replaced by the application, but um, we also still need the teacher. I mean, like, the teacher is the main point of learning language, because with teacher we can have the real conversation. So even though it is an application or online learning, it is better to still provide the teacher who can really speak the language natively. So uh, yeah, I think that it is probably can be replaced by what is that, by the application or online learning, but still it needs to provide the teacher, because yeah, if we just rely on the application, believe me, the language that we learn might be unnatural, because it's like what I said. The example is the computerized audio. Okay, did I answer your question, Winnie?
Yes, thank you, Nurhabiba.
Okay. The next question, please.
Nurhabiba, I
Yes,
want to ask
Penny.
you. Okay, you mentioned about the application is great, but I think it will be difficult for someone to study by themselves. And so, do you think that this application is effective for learning other language?
Oh, I see. Yeah, it is great, but yeah, I also agree with you. It will be difficult for someone to learn the language by themselves. So I think for the effectiveness, it is based on the individual. So if you are willing, or if you're eager to do something and you also do it consistently, I do believe it will be effective. Even though some features are missing from the application, but if you learn it consistently and you also find some resource, it will be effective. But if you what is that, lose your spirit in the middle of your study, I think it will not really effective, because yeah, the language application is all about the independence in yourself. So it also requires how do you manage yourself, how do you, what is that, stay in your intention to what is that, to achieve your dream, which is learning language. So for the effectiveness, I can say it uh, based on the individual itself. Yeah, Penny, I think like that. Did I answer your question?
Okay. Okay, thank you. I think I can try this application.
Yeah, okay, good luck for you to try it. Thank you, Penny. And the last question? Yes, please, the last question.
Nurhabiba, I want to ask.
Yes, Nadia? Yes, please, what is your question?
My questions is, if you could change some features from this app, what will you change or add? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nadia. That's a great question. So if I myself, if I can change or add something to the application, of course, I would make it better, because this application is already, what is that, amazing. It is great. So I think I just need to improve in some areas, just like the audio. So if we, what is it, I would like to prepare the audio in which the native speaker really says the word. For example, when I want to learn about Russia, so I will really find the native speaker of Russia to pronounce the word. So it is not computerized audio, but it is really the native speaker of the language. And if, yeah, that's what I want to change, the unnaturalness of the audio. And what I want to add is that I would like to add some information about grammar, the grammatical structure of each language. So the users might not confuse anymore about the language, but they will feel, what is that? They will feel more enjoy. They will feel enjoy and also find it more interesting. Like that. Did I answer your question, Nadia?
Yes, thank you, Nurhabiba.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, guys, I think that's all about the article. Thank you so much for your attention. Lastly, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.